And how do we as business owners, make sure that we have a bright future with our potential clients, because they need to be able to see that without all of us, being there supporting them, they probably wouldn't have, they'd probably have a bleaker future next year, because 2026, because we don't know, doesn't look to be an extremely bright economic year. So, we're just preparing for that. But we still need all these businesses, we still need all these services, and we still have to, life still has to go on. Businesses still need to be supported. I've always felt small businesses are the backbone of America, and somehow we have to be almost the cheerleaders in a way in our various business, even though we're trying to sell our services. But it's like, hey, things are okay. You can make your business still work. There's still a need for whatever it is that you do. So how, what do you guys feel? I mean, how do you feel about, how do you do that? I mean, I was looking, Jamie, at your site, because I was updating my loan prep course for the get the business credit. So I got the TransUnion link and all that, and said, so they've recommended that you go onto TransUnion to get your personal credit report. You have to put in your credit card. You get a free report because you get a trial period. But then and I put it in big capitalized letters. Immediately cancel it, so you have it. And then the next step would be to go to Jamie's company and get your business credit going. But which is what I put. But how do we then help people to understand that there is still, life goes on in spite of everything. Life still goes on.
Yeah. Well, a lot of businesses benefit from some chaos.
Yes.
Well, war, yeah, but also economic chaos. Mm-hmm. Is that where creativity comes in, where people find new niche markets? I don't know. I'm asking the question, not answering it, but I know in my years as a financial advisor, economic confusion created opportunity.
Yes.
Because people are willing to say, hey, could you help me? Or do you have any, where they might not otherwise feel that way?
That's true. That they don't feel there's this, pending gloom, or they don't feel the need. It's like, oh, I have time,
Right.
I can deal with that later. But you need, especially like when you talk about wealth management, and Jamie, with your companies, what you guys do, that it's important to be doing that now, because it all, even in your business, Jamie, it's that power of compounding. Now, yes, there's a financial compounding, but then there's also a compounding of operational and growth and all of that happens. And you've got to start somewhere, and better, why not now?
Right. And that's where I always, when I'm speaking to potential clients, I always talk about it as the what if money. People think of, because then it's either way, because people think that being a cash business or a cash household is the safest. I'm not paying interest. But it also has its restrictions, because you only have access to as much as you have, so it's like, I can only pull $27 out of my wallet because I only have $27. If I've got a line of credit, then I've got, $100,000 or whatever it is, so it's like, you need to be prepared. And I call it the what if money, because it's like, just like Richard said, when chaos comes, some people benefit and some people have a detriment. So it's, if something comes that hits your business hard, now you're prepared to wade through it until things settle down. On the opposite side, if a huge opportunity comes, you're prepared to take advantage of that opportunity, and you're not going to lose out on it because somebody else is able to jump while you're trying to get your ducks in a row.
But it still is a legitimate methodology. If your ducks are in a row, you can get what they call a seasoned corporation that has a track record of a few years from this bad debt being bought, and then they put it on the shelf for a buyer, and then their costs are recovered. And so you can tell that I halfway know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, no, I know what you're talking about exactly.
Yeah, there is. We kind of, I'll say, kind of work in the concept without really speaking that we're working in the concept. More so in one of the options of an exit strategy, because like a lot of times, say, not a general contractor, but somebody, a marketing agency, an independent, a small agency, the owner, they're like, I'm the creative, the company is me. But if they have their business in a row, they can still sell it and get benefit of the credit score and the age and all of that to somebody new who's coming in. And then, like you said, so there's a difference in a shelf corporation. Like, you can just start a company on paper and let it sit there and age so that somebody can buy it from you. And then they're like, oh, this company wasn't started in 2025. It was started in 2020. So then even though it's not done anything but been,
paying its bills.
Yeah, a paper, paying to be registered the 200 whatever bucks a year. Or the alternative is, like I said, for an exit policy, it's a way for the people who feel like, I don't have a physical structure to hand down to somebody, but they've got that context that you can still sell. So it's like, if you're going to sell, and then, so it's just kind of the paperwork that you can sell. And, but like you said, it is a risk, because you get the pearls and the warts, as my grandpa used to say, when, when if there is hidden debt. So if you're going to buy that, you need to do your homework as well, just like anything.
Oh, yeah. You don't want to inherit debt, but the debt is the debt is addressed, but as part of the seasoning of the corporation.
Correct.
Right. So then, and when I've asked questions to the people I'm talking to about it, what about the regulation issues? Is it a cat and mouse game where it's going to be good to go for a year, and then the regulatory bodies are going to get caught up, and you're in a world of hurt?
Well,
the response I got was, but banks are doing it. In other words, banks are on board with this. So there's no more of a conservative institution, right, than a bank.
Right. And like so many things, it's legitimate, but can be done dirty by the wrong people. So you just.
And it's a common practice. It's been around for a very long time.
Oh, is it?
Yes.
Now, I thought this was new.
Something else. No, they called it something else. Fast. And like you say, you inherit that history of the longevity of your firm. So you're looked at like you've been around for a couple of years versus a few months.
And if they're a client of ours, then it works, because then you're getting a company with a top tier credit score, as opposed to just a company with a start date of years ago. So that's why we have it included in kind of our exit strategy discussions.